What's up everyone, Lion Roar here, and I have got a treat for you today. It is the absolute best run and gun loadout for the Kastov 74U. And the best part about it is, it's the one the pros use. Or would use if the loadout wasn't banned in pro play. But first, download Bloodline Heroes of Lithus, a mobile RPG action fighting game where you can marry your champions to create new and unique hybrids. Use the link in the description to start with some free stuff, including gold and diamonds. And I'd be honored to have you join my server so you can play alongside me. Simply click on your profile, settings, then change your server to S462. See you hopefully soon. Alright, so I know you're not a pro, and the reason I know you're not a pro is because pros don't watch YouTube videos about how to build loadouts, but because you're not a pro, you can use this weapon with the pro loadout and get an unfair advantage just mowing down opponents, which is awesome. But warning, because this is a pro loadout, there is one thing about this particular loadout that you need to be aware of, and that's that the pros have a superhuman natural twitch ability that allows them to see what's happening on the screen faster, react to it faster, and control recoil better. The Kastov 74U is a kind of bouncier weapon to start with, and we are going to totally be sacrificing recoil for speed. And here's the reason why, is because you can't make the weapon shoot faster, you can't look down the sight faster manually, you can't sprint to fire faster manually in the game, but you can control recoil. So if you're okay with a bouncy weapon that's a little hard to control because you can see fast and control that recoil, then this is going to be a really good run and gun weapon for you. It's going to elevate you. It's got a really high ceiling. It's just hard for a lot of players to master. But let's dive in and let me show you what the different attachments are. I'm going to show you the attachments I chose and how I tuned them. First up is the Cronin Mini Red Dot. This is an attachment I use for almost every weapon. You see me point this out before. Basically, it's all for how it looks down the sight. It doesn't block much of your view at all and makes it a little easier, especially at long distance, to hit opponents. And how I tuned it is, I don't mess with the close and the far, but I did want to give myself more aim down the sight speed. And that's really going to be the key with all of these attachments when I tune them. I'm picking them for mobility and handling to be faster, and then I'm going to tune it even faster too. So I was able to get it to negative 1.35 before it really just started to become a negative more than anything. If you want to see my advanced tuning tips video, make sure to go check that out, because I talk about how to calculate exactly where to put these numbers and which of the two options to favor. But needless to say, negative 1.35 is the sweet spot for this one to get aim down the sight speed without hurting the flinch resistance too much. Next up was the Spetsnaz S10 stock, and I almost didn't go with a fifth attachment. And you're going to see a lot of pros do this too, because sometimes the attachments actually have more negatives than benefits. But I did find this stock to have more benefits than negatives at the end of the day. You can see it's not affecting too much here, but there is more green than red when looking at what it affects, which is aiming stability, crouch movement speed, aim down the sight speed, and sprint speed. Again, there's all that speed we're looking for. And how I tuned it was just a little bit towards aim down the sight speed, but it actually ended up hurting things more than anything if I went beyond that, so I left it right there. And then the aim walking speed, I did want to get some of that back, because you've been in those mid-range battles before where you're both like aiming, you're out in the open and like you're shooting at each other. I still want to be able to like move left and right pretty quickly to kind of like dodge what my opponent's doing, without looking like I'm standing completely still, making it easy for them to shoot me. So that's why I went with that. All right, next up is the True Tack Grip. And I'll tell you what, this is an elite grip. You're going to see this on almost every weapon you can possibly put it on. I like, actually, all the grips are pretty good here. True Tack is, you know, heads and shoulders above the others for sprint to fire speed and aim down the sight speed. I mean, it's just got the two, like, absolutely best abilities you want on an attachment right here. It does hurt the recoil control, but like I said, if you can control the recoil, then this might be worth it for you. So when I tuned this one, I didn't touch the difference between recoil steadiness and aim down the sight speed at all. I'm going to show you why. If I start going towards aim down the sight speed, which I really want, look how it's not actually increasing aim down the sight speed at all. It's just hurting recoil. Then we do benefit aim down the sight speed here, but you have to sacrifice a lot of recoil control for that. So I didn't feel like that was worth it. So at the end of the day, I just didn't touch that one, but I was able to move the slider a lot towards sprint to fire speed on this one. And that's just gonna make me even quicker, which is amazing. All right, as far as the under barrel, I went with the Merc foregrip, which is very similar to another one I like a lot, which is the VX Pineapple. I think you'd probably be okay with either one on there. But the one thing that's nice about the Merc foregrip is that it doesn't hurt as badly as the VX Pineapple as far as like mobility and handling, because we are trying to pump those up, not decrease them, right? But this is our one attachment that's kind of hurting that aim down the sight speed. But look at all the other positives we get: hip fire accuracy, recoil steadiness, hip recoil control, aim walking steadiness. And plus, like I said, we could tune it anyway to try and get some of that back. So we got some aim down the sight speed back and hip walking speed back, so that we can do a hip fire a little better without having to really like slow down. All right, lastly, we've got the BR209 barrel. I don't always go with the barrel either. In fact, I often don't, but I did feel like getting that movement speed and the aim down the sight speed with the BR209 barrel was absolutely worth it in this particular case here. And in tuning it, I went towards recoil steadiness just a little bit because I was able to get some recoil control back without really hurting my aim walking speed. Plus, aim walking speed's not quite as important as being able to control the recoil. Now, as far as down here, look at this. I just maxed out the aim down the sight speed. I don't really care about the damage range all that much. The Call of Duty maps in Modern Warfare 2 are very small and cozy. So as you can see here, it actually doesn't hurt the range all that much anyway. I was able to get a lot of aim down the sight speed back doing that. All right, let's jump into the firing range so I can show you how this weapon handles. First, I want to show you what I mean by recoil control. So we're going to go over here. And if I aim down the sight and just shoot without controlling the recoil manually, this is what happens. You can see that the gun walks up and a little bit to the right. So you have to hold the gun down and just a little bit to the left to try to get a smaller range of bullet spray. So I'm going to do this here. See that? That's a smaller range. That's what you want. If you can control recoil, you can do that. The better you are at that, the less you have to rely on the gun itself to control the recoil, and therefore you can increase the speed. I'm going to show you over here. Just like that. All right. So you can see it's not for long range. It took a little bit more to get it, but this is an assault rifle, so it's got range like that, as you can see. This is meant for running and gunning. You are somebody who likes to keep moving. You are not a camper. You're not sitting still. You're not afraid of combat, and you are going to be faster than your opponent. I think you're really going to enjoy this weapon with this particular loadout. If you do, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.